Hello, and in the spirit of all things this week, this is take 2 of these. So, let's hope I get them better. Let's hope I live up to the t-shirt. Right, there's going to be a slight difference to this Long Patrol series in that it is going to have cumulatively 7 parts, each one roughly 15 minutes long. And I'm trying this out to see if this goes down well for while I'm away, because last time I was away, before I went away to Jersey, I did a very, very long series with lots and lots of videos and long ones. And I got a few comments about, oh, you look tired, this, stuff, the other, and various ones going, well, you should have done this again and all sorts of things. And I'm just going, well, actually, I wasn't disappointed in them, but they were a lot of work to do. They were quite long, and putting together was quite a long time. Editing them and added an extra pressure before I went away. So, my idea was, as there was only 2 weeks of me being home before me going away again, between this and me on my next trip, which is Scotland, I thought I will try something different. And so for the lovely Churchill's Initiatives, inspired by old Richard on Patreon, I'm trying as different on that. There is going to be 1 slide per this topic, and I'm basically going to talk you through the rough idea. And if the whole point of this is, when I get back, I'm going to look at the comments underneath them, and whichever one has inspired the most comments other than Gallipoli, which will automatically get a huge number of comments because it's Gallipoli, I will do a live on. And you, the viewers of YouTube, have the duty of reminding me of that if I forget. But I won't, because I noted it down in my diary. The good thing about Google Alerts is it does tend to remind me. So, Google Alerts, a dyslexic's best friend. Churchill the Navalist. Well, here is the interesting thing, because people often go, well, this is not his crackpot schemes. When Churchill starts off in 1909, Churchill is at best an ambivalent navalist, at worst actually anti-spending on the Navy. And he didn't feel the Navy League was that important. He didn't feel any of these things were that important. But there was still a strong navalism going around, even in the various quarters of the Liberal Party. And here is the point you always have to remember, is British per capita defence spending before 1914 was the highest of the great European powers. Britain was spending more money than anyone else, and they weren't really straining their economy. And Churchill is actually a major part of how they get up to that, because he becomes First Lord of the Admiralty in 1911. And by the time he does get into the Admiralty, he is a staunchly pro-navalist. He is massively. In fact, his reversal is so sharp, it's Lloyd George writes to Churchill, "You have become a water creature. You think we all live in the sea, and all your thoughts are devoted to sea life, fishes, and other aquatic creatures. You forget that most of us live on land." And when he wasn't in London, he was always out aboard the Admiralty yacht Enchantress, inspecting ships, naval dockyards, bases, and schools, asking questions, always asking questions. Simple terms, Royal Navy. You don't need a Royal yacht. You need a Prime Ministerial and Minister of Defence yacht. That's the first lesson for how the Royal Navy managed Churchill. Now, he is, of course, First Lord of the Admiralty, when the famous slogan goes through, "We want 8 and we won't wait," which is, of course, comes about in the same situation where the Admiralty asks for 6 ships, the Treasury offers 4, and eventually a deal is put through that they will get 4, with 4 more added on if the Germans lay down a certain number of ships. The Germans lay down a certain number of ships, so that the Royal Navy gets 8, and hence Churchill's classic observation. The Admiralty had demanded 6 ships, the economists offered 4, and we finally compromised on 8. It was a happy time for the Navy, you'd think, but it's also not really a happy time in some respects, because let's consider some of the ships that he gets through. Namely, the Arkloss. I am sorry. There are going to be lots of people going, this is not, how can you blame Churchill for the Arkloss? I can and will every single day of the week. He pushes for oil. He pushes for all the security, all the stuff that's put through to get the Queen Elizabeth class through, and then he settles for the R class. This does not compute. You have pushed everything to get everything you can to get Queen Elizabeth class. And then you accept the R class, which are, how can we make the Queen Elizabeth class guns float on water as cheaply as possible while still looking like a first-rate battleship under a certain light? But it doesn't compute. It does not compute in any way, shape, or form. And you have to remember, these are entirely on him, because, and the reason I can say that, these ships are laid down in 1913. The work on them is started in 1912. The Queen Elizabeth class, predecessors to that, was laid down in 1912. Their work on them had started in 1911. They were also all down to him. And yes, I understand he wanted mass, and I understand quantity is a quality all of its own, but not in the case of the R class. It's just, it's absurd. And we know how good they could have been, because we see how quickly their design is worked into Renown and Repulse class, the Renown class battlecruiser, Renown and Repulse, which are very good ships for their time. We know they are a modified Queen Elizabeth class, well, an evolution of the Queen Elizabeth class in terms of armor distribution. We know all these things about them, and yet we also know they're the R class. The fact that 2 of them managed to see are completed in time to see action at the Battle of Jutland is frankly amazing. Revenge and Royal Oaks both take part. And they get far less attention for it than any other any others of the ships. And you can understand the idea. The idea was, what ships can we build as quickly as possible? What capability can we get in the water as quickly as possible? And I wholeheartedly understand that. But they're also the R class. I don't think any other nation in history has conceivably built, we will build the very best ship we can build. And then the next batch along going, what's the bare minimum we can build? Oh, we have to keep the 15-inch guns because we did it last time. Oh, okay. You sure? Yes. Couldn't we get about 30 up? No. It's just... there is just so much which could have been done. I have to say, though, conversely, there are parts of the design which I really do quite like. You know, I like the single funnel configuration. And I think that adds something to them. I like part of the shaping and structure of their design. I just think... well, let's put it this way. Okay, let's start off with Revenge class. That's what the Arkloss are. They are 620 feet and 7 inches long, or 189.2 meters. Queen Elizabeth class are 643 feet 9 inches, or 196.2 meters. Okay, so it's 7.4 meters you've saved in length. Has that given you a much better ship? No, because top speed for the Revenge class, 21 knots. The top speed for the Queen Elizabeth class, 24 knots. Okay. Let's see. Beam, 88 foot 6 inches, or 27 meters for the Revenge. Queen Elizabeth, 90 foot 7 inches, 27.6 meters. You haven't really saved much there either. Draft, 33 foot 7 inches for the Queen Elizabeth class, or 10.2 meters. And it's exactly the same for the Revenge class. The Revenge class have 18 Babcock and Wilcox boilers, generating 40,000 shaft horsepower. That is deployed over 4 shafts by 2 steam turbine sets. Queen Elizabeth class have 75,000 shaft horsepower, supplied by 24 water tube boilers. Again, 4 shafts and 2 steam sets. So you're saving on 6 boilers. And of course, you could have gone with small tube boilers, which would have given you, probably from the 18 boilers, the same amount of power as you got on the Queen Elizabeth class. Could have done that. And you get 21 knots on this, 24 knots on the other. 7,000 nautical miles at 10 knots is the maximum range of the Arkloss. Queen Elizabeth class, 5,000 nautical miles at 12 knots. Give or take one or the other. And you go down, it's not much savings. Honestly, the ships are not saving that much over the Queen Elizabeth class. The banner price is cheaper. So they make the Treasury happy. But you've already browbeaten the Treasury and managed to end up with 8. Why were you settling for 4 less capable 15-inch battleships in the first place? Because originally, these ships must have been designed for a class of 4, i.e. Revenge, Resolution, Royal Oak, and Royal Sovereign, or Renown as Revenge was originally going to be called. The 4 ships which are the extra are Ramillies, Resistance, Renown, and Repulse. One of those doesn't get completed. One of those does get completed as a battleship, and 2 get completed as a battle cruisers. So you were honestly prepared to accept, we're ordering 6 Queen Elizabeth class, Queen Elizabeth, Warspite, Valiant, Barham, Malaya, Agincourt, and now a class of 4 less capable ships? It just doesn't compute, because if you hadn't gone and made them cheaper, if you'd made them the same quality or the Queen Elizabeth Mark II, which would have made sense, you could have then gone, well, this is the design we're building, so we just have to order 4 more. You could have ended up with 14 Queen Elizabeths if HMS Argenteuil had been built as a sort of Queen Elizabeth standard. As we all know, me and Drac have different views on what she might have actually been, and neither of them think she was going to be standard, really. But either way, you could end up with some really cool ships. And instead you end up with the Arkloss. So maybe this isn't quite a crackpot scheme or good idea. It's a good idea to get the more battleships. It's a terrible idea getting the Arkloss. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the first in this series, and thank you for watching.